My name is Etienne Laliberté. I'm an associate professor at University of Montreal. I've been there since 2014. Prior to that, I was an assistant professor at the University of Western Australia from 2010. In terms of my study, I did my undergrad and my master's in botany, plant ecology in Montreal in Canada. And after that, I did a PhD in plant ecology in New Zealand, University of Canterbury. My earliest childhood memories are walks in the forest with my family, so I guess maybe that sparked my interest in the natural environment, because as long as I can remember, I've always been curious about the natural environment. So I went into biology in college and learned more about plants, plant biology, and thought it was fascinating. So I decided to enroll for a botany degree at university. And well, during my degree, I found out that I preferred fieldwork to lab work and became very curious about plants and how and where to grow, and wanted to learn more about plant adaptations to different environmental conditions. In terms of a big question in my field, I think the question is still the same. It's how can we understand and predict abundances of plant species across environmental gradients? So why do we find that many plant species in one environment and fewer in another? In terms of the hot topics right now, I think it has to do with plant-soil interactions, particularly how plants interact with soil biota and how these interactions can shape local plant biodiversity. It's a really hot topic right now. My research, I guess I would say it's fundamental science, but it still has some application. It can benefit society in terms of improving biodiversity conservation. So if we know more about how biodiversity is maintained, then perhaps we can manage biodiversity better. It also has implications, I think, for ecosystem restoration. So if we can understand how plant communities assemble themselves, then we can rebuild functioning ecosystems, hopefully a bit better. A lot of people have had an influence on my career. So on a more personal side, I would say my dad has had a big influence, not necessarily for science, but he's a high achiever, and he also has a unique ability to unite people around a common goal. And I think that's quite useful when you try to lead a research team. In terms of science, more recently, Professor Hans Lambers from University of Western Australia has been a great mentor, an outstanding scientist and a friend as well, and I'm very inspired by his energy, his passion for plant science and conservation, and so he's been a real big influence. The favorite thing about my job is dealing with students, interacting with students on a daily basis, being challenged by them. Also waking up in the morning and knowing that you're going to learn new things, because you learn new things every day. So these are probably my most favorite things about the job, for sure. The least favorite thing about the job is all the less creative aspects of the job, everything that takes you away from research or teaching, particularly managing budgets, filling forms, all these sort of things I could do without. Advice for particularly the grad students, I think spend a lot of time early on reading. I find that some students maybe don't read enough. I think get to know the literature very well to try to identify what are the key questions and how you can hopefully address those questions. But you have to be pragmatic as well within constraints of time and budget. How can you contribute and hopefully resolve that question with the resources you have? Another advice would be focus. There's so many distractions that it's hard to, but it's easy to get distracted, I guess, during your grad studies. And I see a lot of students that sometimes spread themselves a little bit too thin with different projects. So focus is important, and also persistence. You want to make sure that if you start a particular experiment, you bring it to the end and not give up. Where I see myself in 5 years' time, well, probably not much will change. So I'm running a lab with a handful of students right now, so I don't expect things will change much. Hopefully maybe get a bit lucky with grant proposals and have a few more students, a bit more resources to do the research. And I'm trying to build a new area, develop a new area of research. I'm getting more and more interested in high resolution remote sensing of plant traits and plant biodiversity. So hopefully that's something in 5 years that I will have done a little bit more of. When I'm not working, what I like to do is spending time outdoors with my family and friends, do a lot of camping, and whenever I can, I like to cycle as well. I'm a keen cyclist.